When this paper dropped a couple years ago, I thought it was going to take over robot perception. Like I thought the field was almost solved. Maybe it needed some speed ups, maybe some minor tweaks, but I thought this was going to solve robot perception. And a couple years later, it hasn't taken over the field. So I want to look into it more. Why hasn't it taken over? Is it as good as I thought it was when it first published? Um, so LERF is a language embedded radiance field. So if you're familiar with NERFs, this is those with a clip like language to image model embedded on top of it. So those two things combined. You may be more familiar with Gaussian splats. Those have sort of taken over where NERFs were a few years ago. Basically, you take a bunch of images of a scene, and then simultaneously you solve from all those different camera angles, you draw blobs out in the middle, and you see as you draw each new blob or mutate it, does that make it more or less like the images from all the different fields of view? And so you can recreate these 3D scenes in that way. NERF is similar to Gaussian splatting, except that it uses more machine learning techniques. Gaussian splats is more just traditional, um, traditional computer science kind of a thing. And then anyway, LERF is the language version of that with these embeddings. So what I thought this was going to do for robotics, if you take a look at the scene up here, we're in a kitchen scene, and you can see little text queries, right? Olive oil bottles, looking for the scrub brush, which think what this could do for robotics. You walk a robot into the kitchen, and you're like, okay, we have a task to wash dishes. You could have a language model or something say, okay, what's the list of things I need? I need soap, I need a scrub brush, I need a sponge. And then you've taken all these images of the scene and you can query that, like where is the scrub brush? And you get this answer, you get this like heat map in 3 dimensions for what's likely to be a scrub brush. And then of course you could further query it from there. It doesn't give you like a single point, it doesn't give you like the grab handle of it. Although you can query for things like that. You can say like, scrub brush handle, and you'll get a heat map that focuses just on the handle. There's some really cool examples in this paper. You can see now we're kind of walking around a garden space, same thing. How great would it be to send your robot out and ask like, hey, where's the flat walkable space? Like where's the garden path? Or where's pavement? Things that the robot could walk on. So this seemed really powerful to me. I don't know why it hasn't completely taken over robot perception, or maybe it has, maybe people are using this and just not talking about it on some of the more advanced robotics. Anyway, my plan from here is to investigate this a little more. You can watch for some upcoming videos. I'm planning to set this up, install it on my computer, run through it some scenes that I've captured, and see how it does. Because maybe like one thing that's always a possibility is these examples we're seeing are very cherry picked for the paper. They picked examples that that really highlight the potential, but don't accurately reflect what it can do. I'm not accusing them of anything, the authors of this paper. I just know that's a possibility. So my thought is I'm gonna try and replicate this. Just the code's available. They have a version of this that'll run in NERF Studio, and I have used that before. Never for LERF, but I've generated NERFs in that software. So I think I'm going to pull that again, install it, install this LERF model. I captured some images in the IKEA locally, so I should have scenes pretty similar to this, and we can query for where here's a kitchen, where are some plates, where's the pepper, things like that, things that we might want to do with a robot at some point in the future. So anyway, if you've used this, please let me know your experience with it. I'd be really curious to learn why it's not more popular right now. And if you haven't, stay tuned for future videos. I'll be exploring this more and trying to answer that question for myself.